have? Oh, I only have a little bit of oil. All right, that oil was multiplied. You better go sell some oil. Like go let the supernatural thing take place. But it starts with, what do you have in your own hand? What do you have in your cupboard? You can do the people. And the other thing I've seen people do is like kind of separate. Oh, I work hard and I play hard, and they don't meld together, But I think it's taking all of your personality, interests, skills, and values. One of the things I talk about is, if you have an interest in communications or skills in communications, technology, finance, human resources, but you have an interest in the specific field, take those talents to that field. It makes it easier, right? If you love sports, go do accounting in sports, right? The Phillies, the Eagles, the college team, they all have a need for those type of skills, right? So I still say it starts with an assessment, right? When you say, oh, if you don't feel well, any doctor's office you're going to have to fill out a form. You're going to have to see the triage nurse if you go to emergency and take the data. I don't know why people want to start somewhere up here, right? Oh, my mom, and I guess that's why I'm here, to tell people to start with whatever tools you can get your hands on to find out where you naturally thrive at. If I was in a place where I was not interacting with people, or impacting people's lives, I would not be satisfied. But I know that, right? So instead of wondering it, and if I'm very clear, then I'm going to look for those opportunities, even volunteer. And I'm on the board of a couple of different things, and I'll push back. If people want me to do spreadsheet, I'm not doing, because that's not what I do. It for my business, I do it for my household. But in terms of, I know what my gifts are, right? It doesn't make sense to do things that you are not, especially in a volunteer type of thing. But even the volunteer activities that you work in, those are some, what we call in human resources, transferable skills to other areas as well. But people are just all over. I'm saying, take an accounting of your personality, interests, skills, and values, knit that together, and then develop a plan. That's what I do. I see it in, I love doing that, right? But I'm skilled in doing it. I have an interest. So I'm really blessed that I know how to do that. But really, what I want is for other people to realize what they can bring to the table as well. So the answer is assessments. And there's free ones. There's ones at your school, if your organization might offer it. But I think, and it's doing it often. I've not only just done, and I'll give an example, right? And assessments are not just so you know what your strengths are, it's the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. So the tools really are, so yes, I know my strengths, but I know my weaknesses also, right? So in terms of, in the past 3 years, I've released 90 pounds, right? And I say release as opposed to lose, because when you go lose something, you go to try to find it. I'm not trying to find it. But on this journey, so I don't, real quick, I don't eat sugar, I don't eat flour, I don't eat in between meals. I eat 3 meals a day, and I do it with the support of people, right? But what I learned through that journey is that in my career direct assessment, my number one personality trait is I'm unstructured, right? And I'm a serious no chaser type of person, so it's surprising for some people, but so it was like reflective of me. I'm like, but being I've had people that work for me, those people tend to be a little bit more structured. But when you are responsible for your asset, in my case, my body, I didn't have the structure, so I needed the structure to be successful. A sub occupation under human resources is training, and like 20 years ago I was a training director. When we're doing training plans, we are doing training plans based on gaps, not on strengths, right? So now what I've learned about myself of being so unstructured, now in those other pillars of my life, faith, fitness, finance, family, and fun, I'm very intentional about where's the system, where's the structure, but I have to think first. It's not natural. It's trained because I'm a related executive. So I like accomplishing goals. I don't like structure, but I like accomplishing goals. So I've brainwashed myself to say, what are the structures and the systems that I'm looking for to win? Right. So, but that came about because of assessments and reflection. I'm like, oh, that's the missing piece. I can't just do anything I want. And ironically, having that structure gives me the freedom that I'm looking for. And that's just Carla, right? I'm giving you an example of Carla's individual development plan. And now I see myself really becoming more of that intellectual, more of that, where's the system? I don't want to be all over. And and that came recently, right? So because I'm continually looking for places to grow and be successful at what I'm doing and optimize my career and optimize my life while I'm here.
Laverne's still quiet. So Laverne, you're still muted. Anyway, look, I think there's much to learn from you for sure, Carla. I think I love your approach to personal development. Michael, I'll give you the mic in a second. Let me welcome some more people before we move on. So Roxana, welcome. Glad you're here. Christy, thank you for joining us. Always appreciate your time. So Dr. Monica. Dr. Monica, you got a link to come on stage, so in the studio, feel free to come and share with us. I suppose now I mentioned Dr. Monica because she's a good reason to link career development with finding a job. I wonder if you can comment on that, Carla. And I'll give you a minute. So she's trying to find a job. What can she learn is a question, that might help. Hold on, one sec. Paulette, our finalist genius, glad you're here. My best friend Lisa, our menopause dietitian, holistic health wellness expert. Glad you're here as well. Coach, you're in the studio, so I'm going to welcome you twice, but I've just done it right. Noni, welcome. If you haven't been to Noni's room, sing your heart.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'll come to you as well, Coach David. Coach David, be patient. Michael has many questions, so I'd love to hear his thoughts on the topic. Who else haven't I mentioned yet? Liana, welcome as well. Thank you all for being here. If you've got questions, you've got comments, experiences to share with us, you're welcome in the studio. The link is on the event page. If you want the link, just let me know. I'll send you the link directly. Jay, I'm sure I mentioned you earlier as well. So Carla, the link between career development and looking for a job. What do you say?
I'm going to compare it to the healthcare field, right? In terms of the examples that I've given, it would be saying like, oh, I want to get better, right? And then what's the plan to get better? Like, so is it just a job, or I'm going to rewind back to the same thing of what do you bring? Why should somebody hire you? Right? It's like, what are you bringing to the table to have that exchange of money? That's really what it's. So it really does go back to an assessment. I really think that we have to really think of what value are we bringing. It's an exchange. So that's my question to you, is why should someone hire you? I mean, it's that mindset of saying, okay, what asset, what are my skills? Why should somebody hire me? And it's more than, oh, I want a job. It's that, okay, what am I going to exchange where somebody's going to want to hire me? And it requires work. It requires assessing what that looks like and what the opportunities are also. It is the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and threats, right? So you could be good at, 20 years ago, we had clerks, I'm dating myself, clerk stenographers, right? So stenography was a type of summary thing, right? A tool. But let's say you're good at that, but that's not needed in industry, right? So what other things can you convert to where somebody's going to want to pay you? Right? AI, and it's a broad type of field. There's a occupation called prompt engineers where they come up with the prompts to ensure that businesses get the responses that they're looking for from the AI. So looking at what the opportunities are, you don't want to go into, but I still think it begins with you. And that, people want to skip over that first part. I'm going to keep rewinding it. It's like if you're building a house, you still need a strong foundation.
I agree with you. Now keep bringing it back to square one. Really, I think this foundation is important.
I mean, just like when my sons were, my husband really was a strict taskmaster in terms of learning your timetables, because you can't move on to algebra if you're trying to figure out times tables. It has to be like this. So again, it's knowing what are you exceptional at, but it's not, you just can't wake up and say, oh, I'm excited. It's some introspection, just like the example I gave. Oh, I'm not good at, I prefer to be unstructured. And like I said, that was an epiphany for me. But it showed, it showed in different things, right? So there's other things that I do really well though, and that's good. You bring your strengths and you identify those weaknesses and you mitigate them. There's sometimes I have to be structured to get what I want, but I'm not going to spend 100% of my time in structured activities, because my strength comes from people and helping people to accomplish their goals and win.
Yeah, no, I get that. No, so our accountant Basil says, "Greetings, everyone. Thanks, Carla, for the mindset of it being an exchange." I think there was those words by Steve Jobs: "Do what you love." Everyone's yay, and they forgot how to apply the structure you're talking about.
It's love and talent. It's passion. It's passion and talent. You got to follow the passion, or you got to develop the talent, right? So
I mean, there's a word that's called the skills and all of that, right? There's a skills thing that you have to give to your employers or to a person who's paying you for your work.
Yeah, if we want to talk about sports, there's a book out that it's authored by Kobe Bryant's former coach, and I think Michael Jordan and Kobe had the same coach. And what he talked about was the practice that these two elite athletes had. That it's what you don't see in terms of all of us developing our trade, right? And I heard a couple of things in terms of peak performance. I love acronyms because I'm an executive. I speak in bullets. I think in bullets. So P is knowing your purpose to achieve peak performance, knowing your purpose. E is that you need the energy to achieve that purpose.
Yeah.
So we have to take care of our asset. We have to take care of our bodies. We need health and wellness, because you won't have the energy to succeed. And then it's A, it's taking some sort of action. And we just can't say, oh, I want to do this. And you got to take action. And then K is for knowledge. We need to continuously learn. We need to get the right certifications, the right education. So that's what I'm saying. It's a process. It's not just like this. It's very important, right? That's how we make our livelihood. That's how we support our families. We talk about houses and cars, but we are our best asset, because that's how we get houses and cars and build wealth.
Yeah, you mentioned the word continuous. I'm going to come to you, Michael, in a second, right? That continuous. I mean, when I finished my degree, I started my master's. When I came across the concept of continuous learning, I was like, damn, a whole lifetime of learning. I thought I was done. Yes, I've learned a lot more since school days. But again, I think a lot of people wait too late to start on this development journey. And they wonder why life passes them by. But I guess Laverne is a good proof, and the point of Laverne.
Never too late.
It's never too late. You can still, but you have to be intentional and committed. You mentioned action just now, so you have to be truly committed to forever learning, forever developing your knowledge. Keith, you can't sit there quietly. I see you, Keith. I see you. Trying to say nothing, right? Michael, talk to us. Like, I can't put two of you on screen at once, so sadly. So, Michael, what's
Okay.
what do you want to say to Carla? What do you want to ask? The mic is yours, my friend.
Hi, Carla.
Hi.
I'm glad to hear you. You've got a very nice melodic voice,
Oh,
and
thank
it's attention grabbing, um, and extremely astute and authoritative. As
thank
a
you.
result, um, paying attention to what you're saying, and I'm interested in one thing, several things. I have several questions that will just pop up every once in a while. One of them is uh, is the integrated development plan, and then what is that? Number one,
Mhm.
uh, and how do you? Is it because I've never heard of it? How do you apply it? Um, is it something that is fun? And I say fun because when we get out of college or when we're going through college, done, we hear about, just what Enias had been talking about, continuous education. And all we're thinking about is, hell, no, no. But it is so important that we actually consider it. In fact, it's so important that if we are students, we actually get in there and continue our education as soon as possible, or while we're doing our undergraduates. If we are smart enough to be able to do that, and driven enough in order to be able to do that. And I think that a lot more people would be driven if they knew learning was fun. How do you integrate that into integrated development plan?
Well, when I break it down, there's really, we're seeking a synergy here. We're looking at individual parts of our personality, of our wholeness, that includes personality, interests, skills, and values. The drive assessment that I just did, that's the fun that you talk about. It's fun for me I'm motivated, I'm empowered when I'm impacting people. That's fun, right? There's other people. So that D, that director there, they are motivated and they have fun when they can live a life by design, when they are creating. Like I said, the R, when we are impacting people. That I, when they are learning, when they are setting up systems, when they are using their knowledge. That V, where they're getting some positive attention, when they're giving positive attention. And the E, my secondary is that E, when I'm accomplishing goals, when I'm winning, when I'm, the metrics. That's the fun
Mhm.
part. That's why I love that tool. So it's a summary of different tools in the toolbox, so to speak. It's not one and done. To become a skilled a skilled person. I remember one of my roles about 20 years ago, the HR manager for the city's Office of Fleet Management. That's about
Mhm.
6,000 pieces of equipment. And whenever my staff had to hire a technician, they would have to arrange to move the technicians' big toolbox. Their toolbox is not like a little Fred Flintstone
Oh
toolbox.
well, I'm
It's
familiar with it.
it's
It's
a dresser.
huge, humongous, and very heavy. Good
So
God,
giving,
I do not pity you there.
yep, a practitioner, a career planning practitioner has a variety of tools to develop that integrated plan that I'm talking about. So, but you need to get the data in order to develop to identify the fun. I think drive is a good way to identify what fun is and what empowers people. Then it's, the personality, the interest, skills, and values. That's a 32-page document that comes out after a 2-hour in-depth assessment. Now, some people may not want to do that, but if you're saying, how do you do that? It's a systematic way of collecting all of those experiences. And then there's an in-depth 2-hour consultation. But there's templates, there's tools to do all of the things that I'm talking about, but it's not a one and done. Every occupation has some sort of system attached to it to bring success. So there are ingredients and subcomponents that make up that integrated plan. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
And Michael, 1 second. I will say this. I'm hoping it aligns with what Carla's saying. I think the fun is our sense of purpose, our sense of mission, our goal. How much do we really want this thing that we want to learn? I do say I love my job. I love what I do every day because I do what I like to do, right? I learn every day. I learn as you watch me do it earlier on today, right? I'm saying I enjoy learning stuff that's involved with what I want to do. I find the fun in it. I think it's for us to find the fun in it and our development. It's not in our development is we learn stuff. Some stuff is hard, right? But we find the enjoyment, and I think it's trying to get to that point for me where they say when you do what you love, then you never work a day in your life. Literally, that's where I live, and I learn accordingly.
How do you get to that point? And you get these development plans. You find out how you integrate, etc. You do the tests. Do the schools do that right now, or not do that?
I think it's a journey. I think it's
self-journey.
No, you can have mentors along the way. There's wisdom in a multitude of counselors. Just like I said, I would not have been exposed to HR without that family friend in New York City. And part of my undergrad experience, we are a compilation of our experiences. It's just like, oh, how did I release 90 pounds over 3 years? It's work. It's mental. It's prayer. It's supernatural. It's so many things. How do you eat an elephant is one bite at a time, but it's starting and there's systems, but it's resilience is required. Everybody, it's like food tastes better when it's cooked as opposed to when it's in the microwave. So anything that you are going to do requires persistence. It requires a commitment to doing it. And it's tough by yourself. Listen to the peak performance coach. And he talked about, again, that persistence and that training and that community and that mindset. He was the peak performance coach for the 76ers as well as the Portland Trail Blazers. And he talked about Tyrese Maxey, and I know the 76ers aren't doing well, but looking at individual players. And he said, Tyrese Maxey, he would go to the gym every day at 6 a.m. See, people don't see that. And he had a community around him where he could focus on what he was supposed to focus on also. So it is having, and then he would have wisdom in a multitude of counselors. He was very coachable, very teachable. So it is having a career coach. It is having the data. It is having resilience training to a certain degree also to overcome, because bad stuff's going to happen. It rains on the just and the unjust, but it's how we respond to it. So when you say, how do you do it? It's not the schools. I remember when my oldest son graduated from college, we recognized the village, so to speak, right? It's not just the parents, it's the programs that he was in. We can't delegate responsibility for educating and empowering our students, our sons and daughters, to a school. And we can't do it by ourselves either. We are knitting those things together, identifying what, biblically, when we say train up a child the way he should go. And I know that is referring to scripture, but I am going to apply it also to when we are recognizing their talents, right? Other countries do that. Like, oh, you're going down this path. Now we want a little bit more freedom, but we are part of that process to identify the talent. That's why I love doing the assessments for the 12 to 16-year-olds. The earlier, the better. Because at the very least, we can eliminate the stuff that they don't want to do. And one of the things that I'm realizing in doing my consultations with the families of 12 to 16-year-olds, when I was growing up, we all would watch the same shows, right? Watching Cosby Show, whatever you're watching. But now we don't really know, and it's not bad. They're not necessarily watching something that's bad, but they're watching YouTube videos. They're watching TikTok stuff. I remember during the assessment, what came up for this 12-year-old was that she loved cultural, she had a cross-cultural interest. And I'm like, oh, I asked the 12-year-old student, tell me more about that. And she says, oh, when I go on YouTube and I'm looking at my reptiles, then I look at what country they're from. Then I look at the people that are associated with that country. And then I look at the food and then I ask the mom, did you know she was doing that? She's like, no. So how are we supposed to know but that's not her fault, because that's how I know I raised two sons. Like, you're just trying to survive, that's why it's the village, right? It's just like, but now,
Yeah,
everybody has their
you're
own
talking about a community,
Yeah,
and
you got to
kind of
use
like the
everything. You got to use everything.
way of doing things.
Exactly.
Okay, I
It's a
gotcha.
process.
All right,
It's a process.
Annie, she's following my line of thinking. Thank you. I love her for that.
Hey, Carla, I took my career and made it a business, and I can take it further, but I have these three things that's within me that's holding me back. I'm complacent, fear, and failure. How do I overcome those to grow my company?
So I think it's great, Keith. Kudos to you for identifying them, because some people can't even identify what's holding them back, and that you can state them. So I would say it's intentional about surrounding yourself with people that are going to push you. An accountability group is a start, right? But when left to your own devices, you're going to do what you want to do. But if you are intentional about joining a tribe, joining a accountability group, a mastermind, say, I want to be held accountable, and lean in, then that's really a start also. And making sure that mastermind, that group has the knowledge, like I said, to achieve peak performance, you need to have that knowledge. You need tools that are going to help you move there. But in the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, it does say it starts with desire. You have a desire, but it may not be enough to move you to that next side. So you do need that. I think one of the tools is having that community, that accountability to hold you to what you say you want to do.
Okay, because the contracts have come my way several, and I just, oh man,
I'm gonna have to
fearful of it,
but it's a process, right? It is a process. But I do have to go for my 7 o'clock though.
All right.
Like, Keith, I would love to talk to you. We can, start.
Yeah, no, for sure, Keith. And I might say what turned my business around in the end wasn't technical skills. It was mindset, the fear thing, my way of thinking that was holding me back. And I got a mindset coach that transformed my business literally overnight. That's me. Carla, I have to mention, of course, the legend Stanley Green, who said,
Yes, one of my favorite people.
I really, say, and then now suddenly I placed you in my work.
Plug
I
in.
heard of you, and I didn't know it was you. That's always in our power group. Now I know it's you. Amazing.
All right, but thank you for the invitation.
Hold on, one sec. Look at this one from Paulette. Thank you so much. I've sent your information. So basically, I'll do another. I guess I hope you do another event or class on Saturday to announce your next event. You do events?
You can go to carlahill.com, or you can text me at 215-802-0050. But I don't want to, I'm already late for my next event, but I want to.
I'll let you go.
Thank you so much for being with us, Carla. We appreciate you.
All right, take care.
I'll play your video again before we finish tonight. So hopefully people will get in the comments.
Awesome.
And then we'll share the link. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. All right.
You take care.
Yeah.
Right. No hiding.
I wanted to point out, like with all that Carla said, the main point is that career development is not a one-stop shop. It's an ongoing, it's a continuous journey. It's not something that you could get done overnight. And like she said, it takes persistence. You got to be committed. Once you, as she mentioned, the doing the assessments, once you figure out what you actually want to do with your life, like your purpose, what brings you joy, like the 9 to 5, it's not about the work, it's being happy in what you're doing every day. Once you figure that part out, and of course there are going to be challenges. There'll be challenges. That's a given. But knowing that you're committed and knowing that you're going to continually strive to improve yourself, the learning, taking courses, whatever it is that you need to do to make yourself more relatable and more marketable to whatever the field is that you're interested in, the jobs that you want to actually apply for. It takes, and I believe this is one of the biggest and the best investment that we can make, investing in ourselves. I mean, we invest in so many other things, but like Carla said, sometimes we don't take the time to do it. It's the introspection, it's to looking at yourself and see where you're strong, where you're weak, where you need to be improved on, and just figure it out from there. That's the starting point. So don't ever feel like where you're at right now that it's all lost. Right, Annie, we're still winning.
No, yeah, of course we're winning, and look, I can develop, learning as we go is, that's how we stay ahead of the game. They're saying if you're not learning, if you're not growing, then you are dying. So
You're
literally, it's that harsh. That's why I look at it. It's not optional, it's essential. Again, I don't know. When we were talking earlier, I was talking about how a lot of people want to talk about, they want to learn about mindset. They want to learn about mindset stuff. I mean, that's good stuff. Don't get me wrong; it's necessary. As I do, I think like Keith and I just talked about that very briefly. But we must learn technical skills. We must improve our skills. We must carry on. If we don't improve our skills and our knowledge, we're going nowhere. We can't wish success to happen. We have to actually do something. Carla mentioned taking action. We have to actually do to get the results we want. Let me stop talking. Coach David, how do you know you're a coach, right? How do you find fun? What does the development look like for you? Coach David, right?
Thank you so much. And apologies, I'm in and out of another meeting, but interesting conversation. Thank you, Michael, Laverne, Annie, and Mrs. Eel. I don't know whether she's Miss or Miss. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Development for me is continuous. It's continuous, and number two, it's never exhaustive. It's never ending. It's never final. You must keep on doing, like Laverne said earlier. Thank you so much for that point. It is a continuous thing. The second thing with development is that you must never rest. You must be intentional. And the only room that is not filled in life is room for improvement. But development is also very complex, because the problem with development is that you probably never met yourself. Before you could meet yourself, you met your parents who introduced you to you. They gave you a language, they gave you a belief system, they gave you a lot of things in the first 1 year. Before you could meet yourself, you met your parents. And then you've met school, and then you met colleagues. Before you know it, you're totally lost in the maze. That's why it's good to start the discovery journey as early as you have to. And what Color Hill has done is very powerful, very awesome. And it's just one of the models. There are not less than 12, maybe 20. There are many developmental psychology stuff. And because you've done one, then pick another one. And even the one start growing it. D has a communication style. R has a communication style. I has a communication style. If you have a problem with V, develop it. And how do you communicate with someone that's a V? You learn the limbo of V's. How do you communicate with someone that's E? You learn the limbo of E's. How do you convince people as a manager? If you're going to lead all the five, then you must go the 5 competencies in quotes. So those are very interesting points. I want to speak to the question asked earlier before I keep quiet. I don't want to talk for too long. I'm passionate about this area. If you notice my voice, I can speak on and on. Now, fear and failure have their language. What are the thoughts, emotions, and imaginations that is sparkling that fear? That fear has a look and feel inside you. It has a construct. There was a time it was installed. An incident caused it. Something triggered it. when we do fear therapy, what we do is to find the source and the root of that fear and its anchors, and we try to collapse them. And typically, there is a trigger or an event that is being magnified and replayed over and over. So we need to give your mind new, as a business owner, we need to give them new neural pathways to think, or new possibilities to collapse the previous one. That's how to rewire yourself against fear and failure of the past. I can't remember the first thing that he asked about. And my last point is this. We walk through life and seldom do we dedicate time for personal development. Seldom do we say, I'm going to be half a day every month or half a day every quarter until you need another job or a paradigm shift happens in your life. Majority of us are not intentional enough. Is it once a week you want to live for yourself and your career? Is it once a quarter? What time would you have? And it must be scheduled and calendarized, and it must be filled with activities. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Lovin. Thank you, Michael. And thank you, Laura and Absentia. Thank you. Awesome conversations.
We lost Keith, but thank you, Coach David, for sure. You know, there's much there. You know, that say, you know, we don't make time for our development, but I think it needs to be an everyday thing. That's my personal take. Every day, I try and learn something new. Again, I think Carla mentioned it, where most things we try and do quickly, and that's our mistake, right? That's our mistake. You know, I think I read a book, I've read the book, so that's it. You know, I think, you know, Paulette, I agree with you. We have to have a burning desire every single day of our lives. We really must. That's how we carry the fuel and almost the fun of learning too. You know, I think that's how we have to be. And you see, the point I was making is that when I read a book, I know I've taken something from it. But I know there's so much more in everything I read, everything I watch. You know, that I have to read it again. Most books I read 3 times over at least, and each time I find something new. It's not because I'm dumb or I didn't pay attention first time. It's simply because each time I come back to it, I'm a different person. I know more things about something else. And then that frames what I take from the book the second time, the third time, and fourth time. You know, some of the best people read the same book for years, for 50 years, 30 years, the same book over and over, because each time they find something new. So development is not a one-time done thing, like you just said, Laverne. You know, it's a lifetime mission, and you know, I love the coach's idea that the only room that's not full is a room for improvement. Why don't I think of these things? Damn, coach. That's brilliant. That's smart, right? I give you that much. I know what's smart to your suit. You don't have to talk about your suit, but when I've got our room tomorrow, we'll talk more for sure. Laverne, talk to us.
Yeah, and I think Paulette, she mentioned something just now too, and it is so true. It's about continuous learning. It's like getting up with that, you know, you have that goal in mind, and that's what motivates you. That's what pushes you. So regardless of what happens, and you may not get it today, you may not get it tomorrow, but as long as you keep at it, that's what it is. And I also like how Carla mentioned too about starting as early as, and I think she says she's doing from age 12 to 16 with that assessment tool. It's like you cannot start soon enough. You cannot start too early. The sooner you get into the game, the better you are. And it's not just going to be affecting you as a person. Like everyone around you is going to benefit from that because you learn so you can teach. Whether you have children of your own or colleagues, anyone else around you, you help them too. You share that and they can see the progress and the development in your own career. So it's all about winning, and it's all about, like Carla said, the community. It's not a one person thing. Like we all need each other.
I will say, I think when you get to the level of teaching others, that's when you really learn something.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, so having to stand here day after day, talk about different topics. I have to actually go and learn again. Many of my events I will learn from books, and before the event, I will go and read the book again, whatever book that was. I did this yesterday, and literally, I'm like, wow, why didn't I say this last time? Why didn't I? But it was always there. But they're having to teach something means you have to truly learn it. Otherwise, you sound like you're waffling, and then there's nothing worse than waffling, right? you know.
Yeah.
And I suppose the other part of that point is that when I learn something properly, it comes from implementing it. I hate to learn and just leave it be. I talk about this this learning and this known and doing gap. We know something without actually doing the thing that we know we should do. I think we have to be aligned that if we learn something, we have to apply it and then refine it from there. That's all part of development, if you ask me.
Right.
Michael, come back, Michael. Come on, talk now. You had many points before we started, so I don't know I don't know what I will answer you. Let's talk about it from your point of view.
It's like this, Annie. I'm satisfied with what I've heard, and if later on, the additional questions that do come up, I'll bring them up. I do recall though that I did have a concern we did talk about what do you call it? Baseline learning. In other words, we got to learn as much as we possibly can. And this is, in general, in order to figure out what we're really good at. And that is true. That's why it's a good idea to apply yourself in areas that you're not too familiar with. It's also a good idea, that you're probably not going to need later on in the future, but at least you know something about it and you know how to use it, how to apply it, etc. But it's also understandable when Carla talked about the different fields or different what do you call it? Different industries that you enter that use the similar that require your talents. There are so many of them that are out there, and you can't just block them off because you think that, oh no, they're only interested in certain type of people, or they're only interested in, like for instance, just do one of footballers, and oh no, I can't do anything in there. I could do accounting or something, but you can always do it when you get in there and show the fact that you can actually do the work. Or even the same thing in soccer. What else? What do you need to know when you're doing soccer? Are you good at strategizing? Yes, I am good at strategizing. I can strategize through a number of things. Well, there's also the business part of soccer, where you have to take into account you got to sell the T-shirts, the memorabilia, and all that stuff for the company. So they need people like you who can market their stuff. Marketers. They need marketers too. So whatever you're really good at, just know that there's a place for you in the world, somewhere where you can apply what you know. It doesn't necessarily have to be something what do you call it, an area or a place that's specific for your talent. No, your talent can be applied anywhere and should be applied anywhere. Be able to apply it. You should be able to apply it anywhere you want to go in this world. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. You should be able to apply your talent that you passionately gained, and use it and advance it in that area if you can. So
interesting.
Yeah. Can I just say something?
Of course.
Just a minute. Sorry. So this is one of my personal So I do personality psychology. This is some of my problems with psychometrics and models like Drive. There are a lot of them. There's Myers-Briggs, there are all of them. And you meet people who have turned them to weaponized incompetence. And they say things, because I'm a D, I can't work in a V environment. Because my boss is E, I cannot be an I. Meanwhile, the aim of those models isn't that. The aim of those models is to at least start the developmental. So thank you, Michael, for bringing that up. We need to be positive.
I like the phrase weaponized incompetence. Wow.
Yeah, I meet them. I meet them a lot. They say, because I'm an introvert, so I don't like talking, so I can't do that thing. So a lady told me she was an introvert one day.
Introverts can talk very well and
wait,
very
let me tell you the story. Let me give you the gist. I don't like talking to no one. I'm an introvert. I don't like talking to no one. I said, good. I said, for everybody you talk to in this room, I'll give you $100. She said, no. I can't talk. I talk a lot. I love talking. She began to, before she met 5 people. So I told her, I said it's a joke. We don't have any weakness. We only have insufficient motivation. If we flip the script on you, a V can become E, can become I, D can become I. And in fact, these models help us to know what are the behavioral traits. We can model a successful D, sit a successful D down, and the successful D will show us their meta model. What are the thoughts, feelings, emotions, and imaginations that go through their mind as they perform that activity? What are the set of physical steps they take? How do their muscles behave? We can program that growth for you. So it's not an incompetence or a weakness identifying model, but a strength amplifying model. But people have misapplied it in times past, saying, I can't do this because I have this, I can't do that. And those labels don't exist. If they pay you good money, you find yourself flying. Introvert becomes extrovert, extrovert becomes introvert. I mean, can you keep quiet for 10 hours? I'll give you chocolate. You find young children sleeping. They force themselves to sleep because they're looking for chocolate at the 10th hour. And trust me, they are coming for the 10th hour. They are coming at you.
Just don't say anything. What's the
class captain. Don't make noise. Don't make us lose chocolate. Don't make noise. They self-regulate among themselves. Go on, Eddie.
I think I just Michael. Michelle says you're amazing, Michael. You do make us laugh. We do love you for being you, right? I think I agree with you, Coach. I think that people misunderstand psychometrics sometimes, at best of times. But even within that, I will say that there is a thing about being intentional in what you are learning, what you're developing in, what you are learning. The knowledge you're getting and the areas you're spending your time. Yes, of course, we can work anywhere, Michael, but I'd rather do what I really want to do. That's why I run my own company. That way I can do what I really enjoy doing. In marketing, there's something called a T-shaped learner, a T-shaped learning plan, development plan. Call it what you like, right? But it's T-shaped. So essentially, there are a few broad areas at the top. Now, email marketing, social media, ads. Are you with me? I'm saying there's analytics. There's different broad areas that you can learn. But you've also got to go deep on some of those. That's a long T shapes down, right? And that's about learning across broad areas, but also learning deep in some things, the things that really interest you. Now, when you learn deep, I think you can apply that anywhere, literally. And I'm not saying you should. I'm saying at least you have the capacity to apply your deep knowledge and your deep insights in different settings. I talk about thousands of events every year. That's just the way my life has turned out. My business has turned out, right, doing these events. And I amaze myself. And when I say sometimes I'm shocked, I come out with some ideas because I think, how do I know that? It's by having this T-shaped learning model in my head. So that I know some things I've learned and just parked away because I don't intend to use them. But I still know what they are. I still know enough to apply them in the right setting, right? My point is, we can be intentional about what we develop our knowledge and skills in. We have to be. Otherwise, we just go around in circles, and when they're being shallow, not actually knowing enough about anything. Jack of all trades and all that. I'm sure we all know that saying, right? Be a master of something. Is my point.
Right. And Annie, as you're talking about those skills, is having those skills that's transferable.
Yes.
Like regardless of where you work, you in yourself, there are some things that you could do regardless of the job, regardless of the environment that's in you. Those are your innate transferable skills. You could be used anywhere.
I talked to my son who's 15. I'm saying to him, you think your exams are about the grades. It's not about the grades. Of course it is. It matters what grades you get. But I'm saying deep down, it's about you learning how you learn. You learning what interests you. You learning what's really within you, what's inside you. It's not what school gives you. I know you asked a question earlier, Michael. This education system is what it is. It's aimed at a broad range of kids to learn something, to at least be aware that this thing exists. But most of the learning, most of the interest can be piqued when they're young, but then it carries on through life. The experts don't stop learning at 16 or 20 or 30. They carry on learning every single day for years, for a lifetime, most of them. And development, it's a funny thing, but it's an essential thing. Let's come back to you, Laverne, for a second. Mark, if you want to speak, feel free, right? Laverne, how did you find fun in your development, and what difference has it made to your life?
So for me, once I figured out what I wanted to do, once I realized what I love doing, is because I actually saw it demonstrated. One of my previous jobs, and the person in the HR team, when she helped me when I started with that company, and the processes that she took me through, and the way how she had that impact on me, I knew then that's something that I want to do. I want to be able to do that for somebody else. And so coming up through the HR, on the HR path, there are different routes in HR that you can take. And so currently my path is the hiring and staffing. And at the end of each day, whenever I'm able to contribute to someone getting started on their journey, that's the highlight of my day. That's where I find fun. We call it fun, but that's what makes me happy. Knowing that someone can say, oh, thank you so much, Miss Oliver. Thank you so much because when we meet new candidates daily, it's not just about them coming into interview or being placed with a job. We actually speak to the actual person on a whole. And so we get to learn from them. They share their experiences. Like last week, we were doing some interviews, and this candidate who was selected, she was so excited. Like she wanted to cry because she felt like she already recognized that this is going to be an important path on her career journey. This is just the first step. She was just selected. But just knowing that I am involved in that entire process, that brings me joy. That's the highlight of my day. So that makes what I do worthwhile. And that's the whole point of career development. You have to find that thing that makes you want to go and do it every day. Now, what my job is really stressful. It's a lot of work daily, but I feel so empowering when I do this job. So for me, that's what it is. You find that joy and you just stick to it. You improve yourself as you go. Like Carla mentioned, the many certifications that she has, you do what you need to do to always make yourself, like I said, marketable and relatable, so that way you can continuously help others as they start on their career journey as well. So Michael left us, Annie?
We lost Michael. Maybe his signal fell off.
Okay. But yeah, for me, that's the joy. That's where I find the joy.
Yeah, no, I can understand, and I can sympathize, and I can empathize. I feel it's the same here, really. There's nothing better than helping people, which brings it back to it's about learning and applying what you learn to help other people, really, and that's the joy.
It is.
It's a lot of people just learn stuff for the sake of learning stuff. They feel like they just learn stuff for the sake of learning stuff. That's never going to drive you or motivate you to carry on learning. So when you can find the meaning behind what you're learning and the point of what you're learning, I think that's where we truly, development is a transformation. Is my point. We have to move. We have to change as a person.
It is
Based on learning this new thing. Go on, coach.
Yep. Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you and Laverne. This is like a manual about yourself. This is about me. And you see, my basis is scripture. For you're fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yes.
There's a part of you. You are a masterpiece work.
Masterpiece.
You're a masterpiece, and so it takes a while to master yourself. And you're created as a being of growth and greatness, and requires to school yourself in understanding yourself. I don't want to go preaching, but you see, there's a lot to achieve. There's a lot to achieve in life, and if, for example, you're a D. For example, we need a lot of D's. If you're an R, we need a lot of R's. There are deep things. And if you're an R, you can be the R that can help us understand V's better or E's better. Just to add to what we're saying, that it's a developmental map and it never finishes. And my counsel is for us to take as many of these things up to develop ourselves, because we need more people to be winners at work. And that links to the topic we're also talking about tomorrow. We want people that are indispensable. We want superstars anyway. We want, and we have the tendency, if you just think about how the equipment that God has put together in our bodies, how we spoke yesterday, we're speaking today and tomorrow, and our voices don't finish.
Right.
How the megapixels of our eyesight never finish. How we stand up and walk every day, and you walk and walk and walk and walk, and your leg doesn't finish quarter. So
Right.
you're created as a master. I mean, you've eaten stuff that should destroy anything. You've eaten acid, you're fine. You've eaten alkaline, you're fine. Your digestive system is a masterpiece. So all of that equipment cannot be together and be less performing. If you see the cameras of our eyes, if you see the megapixels, even with my glasses and everything, what the optician has said about the human eye to me, how much to take for us to put together a robot that will see at that intensity and piece together information that way. So we are created to do great stuff.
Yes.
And that journey of developing ourselves to develop other equipment must be done. That's the other point I wanted to add to what we were saying earlier about development. Thank you.
No, totally agree. Michelle, thank you. I know I see you have to go. He says thank you for being beautiful human souls.
Thanks for being here, Michelle.
I appreciate
As
everything
always.
you do. I never know what those emojis are, but they look good, so I'll take them, right? Part of my development.
Michelle.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy your night. Now, Michael's still alive. Thank goodness, he's still there somewhere. Right? He's just not in the studio. Look, look. I guess the final thing was, I'm going to play Carlos' video before we go, just for those who joined late or those who are watching the replay as well. I think development. Is I agree with this. It's a life mission, right? And yes, we're superhuman. What we're capable of is remarkable. And I always bear the words in mind. It's not, it's not what we can't do that scares us. It's how amazing we are and the greatness we really could do that scares people. That's the truth, right? People are scared of how far they really could go.
Yeah.
Because to get there means putting the work in, and doing the work to learn, and doing the work to make the mistakes, and doing the work that it takes to become a different person, to change our lives completely. And I said, no, we must not be scared of how great we are, and we can be, as you're saying, Coach, right? I guess I'm always I always have Maslow's hierarchy of needs in mind. Just when you've done everything, when you're as good, when you're the expert, now what? Do I stop? No.
No, you gotta keep going.
The top level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs is self-actualization. It's that question: how great can you be? How great can you really be? That keeps us developing. That keeps us learning. Because we can be even, there's no end to our greatness. And I think we're lucky to live in an age where human capabilities is coming to the fore. And again, I think it's something I read the other day that said basically that you can pick 5 or 6 scientists today who knew more than all these scientists that probably ever lived in human history. Think of that. That's remarkable, right? That just shows you what we can do and what we can be today. But it's more scary when you think of what we can be tomorrow. With the technology, with the knowledge, with the insights that be out there. What can we really do? Remarkable, amazing, unthinkable things. That's a quantum development. Go on, Laverne. I think you have the last one.
No, it's all about embracing it. It's embracing it, knowing that it's a continuous journey. It's embracing lifelong learning, and not being afraid of going forward. Like you say, Annie, it's the things that you haven't done yet. Embrace it and just welcome the change, because success is not about where you started. It's about the fact that you continue on the journey. You keep going. You keep going. There's always something new to learn. Always, no matter what. So just stay positive, stay proactive, and be intentional about whatever it is that you want to achieve, whatever your career goals are. Invest in yourself. Whatever it takes for you to get to that place, just do it. You do it for yourself.
I wonder if this is the only one that you're probably never going to stop doing until you die.
Right.
Of the games in your book, Laverne.
Right.
This is the book, my friends. This is the book that we want you to come and buy next Friday when we launch the book. So this book will be available at launch price. I don't know what it is. It could be 99 cents. It could be $1.99, something like that. That's the most it's going to be. So do come and do join us. Laverne's going to sing and dance for us next week. It's book launch day, right? So she will. We're willing to entertain you. Of course we will. But please do come and support Laverne to become a best-selling author by buying the book at launch price. So all you have to buy is the ebook as well. So if you like the ebook, then you can buy the print book. Yeah.
Right.
Now, but I've guaranteed to make Laverne a bestseller next week. So I need your help. Bring your shekels. Now in the UK, Coach David, in case you're wondering, it's $1.79 if it's $1.99. Otherwise, it's just 77 pence. Come on now. Come on, buy your friends copies too. And the Verse family and friends, now we need your help too. So I'm going to get you on the email. Now, Coach David is next on my list. So his event starts tomorrow, Laverne. He's going to have to. It's every
His event
week.
starts tomorrow?
Yes, Friday. Okay. So we're going to talk about your unfair advantage. That's his theme. So we'll start tomorrow.
I already got his name written down, so I know I'm definitely looking. Yeah.
Don't worry, you're on my email list now, Laverne.
His voice is so familiar to me, but yeah.
Excellent. Well, they got 4 weeks of us, and then talking about his. I don't know, Coach David. You tell us. Is it a mixture of spirituality and mindset? Now, what's your theme? Your unfair advantage. So I think it's those two things. I think it. So if you can mix spirituality with intentionality, with your genius, of course you're unstoppable, right? Yeah, that's the point. But now do join us, my friends. Laverne, as always, please go in the comments and engage with our friends and follow people. And Laverne, you gotta meet them. Stop telling me I'm busy.
I am, Eddie. I am.
No, I don't.
I am, Eddie. You haven't been looking.
There's one chance to get your bestseller, Laverne. It's not one chance. We can do it again if we had to. I'm saying, if we don't get it, I'm gonna have to do it again anyway, right? But we've got one chance to bring your friends, your family, your LinkedIn connections together to buy your book. If I try and do it twice, they'll be like, I bought the book already.
No.
Right. So I'm saying we have to get it right this time. So you have to make the friends.
First time.
Yes. There's no choice. That's if I say guarantee, it means it has to be right. But thank you, Laverne. You've been a star. But I can't thank you till next week after our launch event. So we'll be in touch, my friends. Coach, you're always brilliant. I can't wait till tomorrow. Look, do check out Carla's Discovery, the Discover Your Drive. So there's a website for it. I'll put the link in the comments. CarlaHill.com, CarlaHill.discoveryourdrive.com. So I'll show you the video again so you know what I'm asking you to go and check out. So do go and check it out. So when we come back, then we'll say bye to everyone, and then we should bid you good night. Give me a minute and a half. That's what the Lalon's video is.
Welcome to Discover Your Drive. In a world full of personality assessments, what makes Drive so uniquely different? It comes down to 3 areas: your personal life, your relationships, and your career. When you discover your drive in your personal life, you will learn why you think the way you think. The imposter syndrome that you feel sometimes, the ego, the anxiety, the fear, the self-doubt. When it comes to your relationships, it's all about connecting with other people and their drives. Whether it's an intimate, friend, or personal relationship, learning how and why other people are driven the way they are absolutely changes the way that you show up and the way you connect with them. In your career, it's going to help you with motivation, inspiration, the way you connect with your clients, your coworkers, maybe your boss. And then sales, it absolutely changes the way that you sell when you understand what drives other people. So to discover your drive, simply scroll down. There's gonna be 35 questions. It'll take you less than 5 minutes. Each question is based on what makes you feel important. So work and family can be important to you. Work and family may not make you feel important. We've defined that feeling of importance as when you really feel connected to your true self, feeling on top of the world, being your true identity. On each question, you're going to rank it from 1 to 7 as I strongly disagree or I strongly agree based on what makes you feel important. As you finish your last question, make sure you put your name and email address in so I can send you your 57-page custom drive assessment, which will help you connect more with yourself, revolutionize your relationships, and catapult your career.
Yeah, do check it out. So I'll put the link in the comments. So do go and have a look, my friends. It's free assessment. If I missed anyone out, I hope there's one more comment apparently. We'll get to Michael. Is Michael saying so exercise and I've got to do it? Of course you do, Michael. So do I after this. But past midnight, I've got a meeting to have before I do that. Thank you so much, everyone. Laverne, you can have the last word.
Just do it, folks. Just do it. Whatever that goal is, just go get it done.
Win the game, my friends. You got to win the game, right? Coach, you're muted. What's your last word for us today, my friend?
Yeah, my last word is development never ends. And by the way, go take the drive test. Take it, take the 57 page report, piece it aside, do a developmental plan. Don't turn it to weaponized incompetence. No. Look for a way to use to develop yourself. Create a curriculum of your life. The word CV actually means curriculum vitae, which is course of life, the flow of your life. So develop the flow of your life and do all you can to grow with these two. So I'm excited. Thank you, Laverne and Amy and Carla in absentia. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I will say thank you. I'm thankful to you too, Coach. Enjoy your night, my friends. So, I would love to say I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. I'm going to see you next week for the book launch on Friday. Enjoy your night, people. Take care.
Have a good night.
Celebrate it with the without champagne or rum. She's success, we go hold that